Here is the Pennsylvania Station in the city of Baltimore, Maryland. In historic times, this city is a nice port city here on the eastern seaboard, close to the fall line of the eastern or the northeast part of the United States of America. Ships from everywhere would enter these canals, these ports, these rivers here, and they would find a way to ship these goods across the United States. And so Baltimore is the place where the oldest train stations and train lines started. And so today I'm with a stranger. Well, he's not a stranger anymore. He's my second cousin whom I've never met until last night. And we're gonna check out the city of Baltimore. After all, it wouldn't be an adventure if I go to one of America's most dangerous cities with a stranger. And as I said, I'm with a stranger by the name of Chris O'Toole. And so he's bringing me around Baltimore today. He's an expert on trains. He's an expert on urban geography and exploration. So join us on an adventure in the great city of Baltimore. As I said, historically speaking, this is a port city and it's known for its railway station and its railway system, being one of the oldest in the United States, if not the oldest, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it connects Baltimore to other parts of the United States, creating a transcontinental railway that crossed the Appalachian Mountains and connected, and was a huge part of westward expansion. Modern day Baltimore is known perhaps in ways that would signify urban decay, a crime-ridden city that's been terribly mismanaged. And so I want to go investigate parts of Baltimore to see what it's really like. We're going from uptown to downtown Baltimore. Now, while we're in a nice part of Baltimore, you see this is kind of under construction, a little decrepit. This part isn't. If you were to go to the outskirts of Baltimore, YouTube or Google research Baltimore, Maryland, you would see neighborhoods fully boarded up, completely in urban decay. And it's something that, me living in Europe, people always ask me, what are these American cities like? And it's quite a contrast to what you see in these really nice downtowns and, you know, Washington, D.C. and Minneapolis and Milwaukee, where you've seen previously in my videos, compared to what you see in the south side of Chicago or the north side of Minneapolis or the west side of Baltimore. So Maryland, the state, and Baltimore, the city, of about 500,000 people, and the metropolitan area being much, much bigger, is part of the original 13 colonies. So before the United States became the United States, there was 13 colonies. Of course, when you see these monuments here dedicated towards people like George Washington, other politicians, other quote-unquote American heroes like we might have here, it's because the Revolutionary War made us become independent from Great Britain. This area was the centerpiece for all those movements, along with Philadelphia and other places. All right, we're gonna climb this tower, you guys. 227 stairs, right? Made of marble from the city.
Absolutely.
Right here in Baltimore.
From right north.
Wish us luck. Bye-bye. All right, you guys, look at this, incredible. And so it loops around about 10 times until we get to the top, which hopefully there will be a spectacular view at the top. If you're claustrophobic, this is
7.
a little scary. I'm gonna pass you, all right?
Sure.
Oh, this ain't for the faint of heart. The other time I've climbed a bunch of stairs like this was in Guatapé, Colombia. Peñal. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. Here we go.
I miscounted.
The city of Baltimore. The city of Baltimore. Check it out. That cathedral down there. Very, very impressive. Well, that was an interesting adventure I didn't expect. And so people say, oh, I'm never gonna travel to the United States, it's too dangerous. I've received that comment multiple times on my channel. But I mean, you just gotta know where you're going and you'll be fine. You'll encounter the same things you're seeing in this video. Wow, West Baltimore Street. Just look at this building, you guys. Now we're getting close to where we're going, the B&O, Baltimore and Ohio Railway Station. What up, bro? to show you more about the history with the great railway that started here in this very city. And up there you have the University of Maryland flag. And another important university here in the city of Baltimore, world famous, called Johns Hopkins University.
I stayed at this hotel. It was really nice.
The Lord Baltimore Hotel. Wowzers. We find ourselves on the famous Pratt Street in Baltimore. And this is where Union soldiers from Massachusetts, ordered by Abraham Lincoln, marched down to get to another station where they would go to protect the Capitol, Washington, D.C., the White House, the Capitol building. And Confederate Maryland rebels got together and they rioted here, provoking further tension between the Union and the Confederacy during the American Civil War. So we're in Camden, a neighborhood of Baltimore, and here's the Camden train station. And adjacent to that is a baseball stadium. The Baltimore Orioles play here. Baseball is not popular in Europe, and it's really only popular in the Americas. So for any of you Baltimore, Maryland fans, here's where they play.
Holland plays baseball.
Holland plays baseball as well.
Running this stadium, you want to hit it so far that it lands in Utah Street.
Okay, so here is the Oriole Stadium. This is birdland, and if sometimes they hit home runs that are long enough, the baseballs will bounce over into Utah Street. Wow.
And this building,
I bet you.
this building here is the old B&O Railroad Freight Warehouse.
Okay.
All the freight that came into Baltimore on the B&O would be handled through this building here.
All right.
Distributed.
And so they sort of have converted, using the modern sports culture to combine it with the railway history here to make it a really nice tourist attraction.
Yeah. And this entire area down here, you would not have been able to recognize it in the late 70s. It
Wow.
was nothing but industry, torn down buildings. It was a mess.
And now, look at it. It's great. So I was saying this is one of the nicer stadiums I've seen.
It was an architectural wasteland.
An architectural wasteland. Speaking of baseball, we find ourselves in front of the Babe Ruth Birthplace and Museum. The famous American baseball, the original slugger, the home run king. Of course, once was passed by the likes of Barry Bonds and Hank Aaron. But Babe Ruth has a name in American sports folklore, and right here in front of his birthplace. Wow, Baltimore, Maryland. I did not know that until I came here in these back alleys of the city of Baltimore.
And he was a pitcher.
He was a pitcher, and he smoked cigars while doing it in the 1930s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you live here?
Yeah, this is my house, yeah.
So George Washington used to walk through these neighborhoods?
Yes, George Washington used to walk through here. This is historic Ridgely Delight.
Okay.
It's a historic block, and that's why a lot of this stuff is the original. As a matter of fact, you can't touch the house until you go through the CHAPS, the Historical Society. But George Washington used to walk through here. Babe Ruth Museum is right up the street.
Yep.
Babe Ruth lived near here also. A lot of history in this block.
Absolutely. I'm just looking at it and I'm taking it all in. So you stay here, you live here?
Yes, I own this house. My wife and I own it. It's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath house.
Okay.
Yep.
And so could we take a look inside?
Sure, yeah.
All right.
Go on inside. We
All right.
updated it this morning. Go ahead and...
All right, let's check it out. Thank you very much. All right, so they're renovating it. Oh, wow, these row houses. So you just bought this.
No, I bought it a while ago, but you know, through the permit process, it takes a while with the city. Like, I can't change this door.
Okay.
I can't change that door because it's historic. I have to go through. I can't put the deck up out back because I have to go through. But all this
right.
other stuff, I pulled the permits for it so that I could finish all of that. We did the exposed brick and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, but 1-bedroom, 1-bath. So with the kitchens, all of the kitchens were in the basement years ago. We moved this kitchen up to the first floor.
All right. Well, I appreciate you giving us a sneak peek. What's your name?
Carol.
Carol?
Yep.
Elliot. Nice to meet you.
Okay, good meeting you.
Thank you. And appreciate your openness.
No problem. I hope you guys have a great day.
Alrighty.
Okay.
See you later. And here we are at the B&O Railroad Museum, the birthplace of American railroading. The railroading that would prove to be the propulsion that we needed for the industrialization of the United States. And it all started right here in Baltimore. Remember how in Wisconsin, in the town I'm from, Ladysmith, well, that's a logging industry. Well, these are the trains, the Shay locomotives that were used to haul timber and lumber throughout the Midwest. And that's because they had so much power and torque to go up these steep grades and sharp curves with their steam engine here. Wow. Impressive to see where all this American history comes together. And apart from transporting raw materials, resources, and the likes, trains were used to transport people and a thing called a caboose or a passenger car. And that's how people started going westward or north from this part of the United States to really start to homestead and settle in other parts of the United States. And it's essentially the railroad and the railroad system that allowed that to happen before, of course, automobiles and highways and roads became a thing in the 20th century. And of course, before planes and flying became a thing, well, in the 20th century, they had nicer trains and they looked just like that on the inside. Luxury style travel, train-wise. Wow. Can you imagine traveling with your lady, a nice glass of whiskey, traveling to Chicago? Hey, let's go to Chicago for the weekend. Well, that's where these things happen. Wow, little did I know the banana, which came from the United Fruit Company down in the jungle of Honduras and Guatemala. Well, all those bananas, they were coming through here, right in Baltimore at the port. And then they were transported by the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad. So all the bananas we were eating in the middle of the 20th century and thereafter came right through here. And of course, there's a long story behind the United Fruit Company, which when I'm back down in Central America, I will touch on that. That's a different story. Now, what would be an amazing B&O railroad network station without a port that can transport the things from overseas or other states or other nations? Just look at it. Look at the ship over there. Wow. I would love to go check that out here in downtown Baltimore. So as you can tell, the harbor or the port, railroad company are equally as important. And obviously what put Baltimore on the map. So this is part of the Chesapeake Bay. It's tidewater and you can just see all the ships that are lined up there and the yachts. Wowzers. You guys like this place?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
of course.
awesome.
Wonderful.
Where are you guys from?
Philadelphia.
Philly, all right.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Wow, we've came to a place called Bertha's. We're gonna go grab a beer. Welcome to Bertha's, home of the bumper sticker and fresh mussels daily. And so, wow, check this neighborhood out. Hopefully I can get a little bit more of this later. First impressions are great. Baltimore has been a great day. You guys, you gotta see the inside of this bar, Bertha's. Wow. Hi, ladies. Hi. American ladies, the best. It's because I make videos in Spain, so everybody's asking me.
Yes, we're
Yeah.
American.
All right. Is this a nice neighborhood?
Baltimore is amazing.
Yes, it's really nice. I'm gonna check it out later. Thank you.
Baltimore's awesome. Enjoy.
All right, let's check out this bar. Oh, a moose. Wow.
It's pretty good. It's like a better piece of
And a fellow Liverpool. All right.
I remember seeing that.
Soup of the day, whiskey. Come to Bertha's Bar if you want good IPA beers, calamares, and mussels. So far, we haven't got mugged, we haven't got shot at in Baltimore. And, you know, we're in a nice uppity little hipster place, age 25 to 40 median age. Lots of good places to eat and drink here. Cool art. I met the owner of Bertha's. He was real keen on me showing his place. And friendly people.
I'm not sure he was the owner. I think that's just a story he tells.
Maybe. Well, I talked to the employees and they said he was.
Really?
Yeah.
Here to the left.
You can see all the train tracks that are no longer in use here in Fells Point that in historic times, or when he was a child, they would deliver goods via train to these neighborhoods here. And again, now they're not in use, but this is what's left. And we have water taxis here that are out of service. Thanks, COVID. We were looking forward to taking these today across the harbor, but not everything's perfect when you try to make a video for YouTube. I'm here in the Fells Point Pier, part of an estuary, part of the Chesapeake Greater Bay. And in the distance there, we can see some Navy ships, but even beyond that is Fort McHenry. And a really famous song in American history, perhaps the most famous song, was written out there during the War of 1812 when Francis Scott Key wrote the lyrics for the Star Spangled Banner. Right here in the city of Baltimore. Wow. Now it's the most famous song. You probably hear it everywhere, at sporting events, at funerals, at everything you can imagine. And that all started right here in this very harbor. Hey guys. Well, that concludes the full-on tour of Baltimore. I want to give a special thanks to my second cousin,
Chris O'Toole.
That's it. Chris, we didn't get shot today, we didn't get mugged. So
Yeah,
would
we didn't.
Would you recommend Baltimore to tourists?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. And so what are my next plans?
Well, you concluded it famous Vacaros.
And we finished the tour here in Little Italy at the famous bakery Vacaros. We had some great desserts. And so yeah, you guys, I would highly suggest coming to Baltimore. These American cities on the East Coast are great. Definitely come here. And so what are my next steps? Well, I'm going back to Spain tomorrow. I'm super excited. I'm going back to Europe. Time for a new year, time for new beginnings. And I don't know, guys. I don't know when I'll be back to the good old birth country, my good old country, United States of America, but maybe I'll be here a year from now, maybe 2 years, we'll see. So until the next video, let's give a little tour of Little Italy.